Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No. Economic force.
Donald Trump is continuing to talk of making Canada America's 51st state and doubling down on threats to impose 25% tariffs on Canadian goods. This as Ontario Premier Doug Ford makes more appearances in international media to wage a public fight against the threats. He appeared on CNN and the BBC Monday.
So when Trump says this today about the 51st state, how do you respond?
Well, I can appreciate his sense of humor, and I kind of went back about buying Alaska, but, something is just not realistic.
But Ford appears to be taking all of the president-elect's threats seriously. Trump has insisted that Canada needs to tighten up its borders, and Ford has announced a new deployment of 200 OPP officers aimed at beefing up border security. While the government wouldn't say how much they'll spend on the team, they say its work will focus on places other than Ontario's 14 border crossings. This expert on cross-border trade and security says there are gaps this policy could fill. Canada's border officers have no authority outside points of entry, she says.
So in those areas where there is no authority or mandate, that's a gap area, right? So how are we addressing that? And if the Premier has the authority through the OPP to enforce those areas of jurisdiction, then that's a good thing.
This immigration researcher says she's concerned the rhetoric about the borders will harm asylum seekers exercising their legal rights.
The concern is that when people learn about the ways that the border is being securitized and controlled, again, they're not going to stop coming necessarily. They're just going to make riskier decisions, potentially even leading to loss of life.
And when it comes to fighting back against Trump's threats, McMaster University's Peter Grafe says there are limits to what Premier Ford can do. And strategically using these media appearances allows him to potentially reach Trump and his allies.
I think he feels deep down that Ontario's economic survival is at play. He realizes that he doesn't have the power to negotiate international trade agreements. That's a federal government issue. So he has to do something, and this is something he feels that he's capable of doing.
Ford is set to meet with the rest of Canada's premiers Wednesday, all in a bid to plan the next steps ahead of Trump's inauguration on January 20th. Shawn, Jeffords, CBC News, Toronto.